What is up, guys? So there are a lot of smartphones out there, and there are still a lot more to come, but these are the top 5 that you can get right now. Alright, so starting off at number 5, we have the Sony Xperia Z5. Now, I could have easily gone with the Z5 Premium with the 4K display, but I don't really think that's necessary, at least for right now. So the Z5 packs in the Snapdragon 810, Adreno 430 GPU, and 3GB of RAM. This may not be the best spec-wise, but it's still a great phone. And also, Sony stuck with a 1080p screen, so the battery life on this phone should be awesome. The phone is also IP68 certified, which means it is dust-proof and water-resistant. You also have a micro SD card expansion slot, which makes it a great choice for a smartphone. Now, the camera on this is also a beast. It's a 23 megapixel 4K shooter, and because it's from Sony, you know you'll be getting the high quality photos and videos that you get from other Sony DSLRs. Overall, the Z5 is just a great phone, and it's also not too expensive. So if you're looking for a good phone with an excellent camera, the Z5 is an awesome choice. Next, at number 4, we have the LG V10. So this came out last year in October, and as a follow-up to the G4, which was also a very huge success. So it has basically the same specs as the G4, so the Snapdragon 808, Adreno 418, and 4GB of RAM. LG has also added in a couple of new features like dual displays and a fingerprint sensor on the back. The camera on the V10 is also excellent. It gets very bright, very sharp, and the colors are very accurate. And LG's new Pro mode or manual mode has made this one of the best cameras on a smartphone right now. One small problem I do have with the V10 is LG's famous UI. It's very slow, and you'll be last in line for Android updates, which a lot of people don't like. And I'm personally okay with it, but I would prefer to have like stock Android or a lighter skin at least. But that aside, the V10 is still an excellent choice for a smartphone. It's very fast and it has an excellent camera, so you should be fine. It also has features that other smartphones don't have right now, like a removable back, removable battery, and micro SD card expansion slot. If you can get past LG's UI, the LG V10 is a great choice for a smartphone. At number 3, we have the king of Android, the Nexus 6P. So Huawei and Google teamed up and produced basically the best phone you can buy that runs Android right now. It's stock Android, so you'll be first in line for updates, and with that clean UI, you also get a load of specs like the Snapdragon 810, Adreno 430 GPU, and 3GB of RAM. You also have a better camera, better screen, and a new fingerprint scanner. The hardware on the 6P is also amazing. Its metal build fits perfectly with the new features and how good the smartphone actually is. The phone is fast, beautiful, and clean, and the camera is actually a huge upgrade from last year's Nexus 6. You have a new 12 megapixel 4K shooter, and even though it doesn't have OIS, it's still a great camera. There's nothing really major wrong with the 6P. It may not have a micro SD card slot, or it might not be IP68 certified, but it's still a great choice and the best phone that you can get on Android. And it's actually not that expensive. It's pretty cheap for a flagship phone. Alright, so at number 2, we have the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. So Apple has really stirred up a storm with their iPhones, and it has become one of the best-selling smartphones in history. And Apple does it again with the iPhone 6s, and rightfully so. The iPhone has 2GB of RAM and runs on Apple's A9 chip. And while these may not seem like the best specs out there, it still runs amazing, and iOS is buttery smooth with these specs. The camera on this iPhone is also a huge upgrade. It's a 12 megapixel camera that shoots 4K. It's very fast and very easy to use, and it's one of the best cameras that you can get out there right now. Now, some may argue that the iPhone is overpriced, but that's just to some people. And if you can get around that price tag, the iPhone is a great choice. The hardware is beautiful and it runs very fast. There are no hiccups, great camera. There's pretty much nothing wrong with it. Now, down to number 1, we have the new Samsung Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge. There is no doubting why these should be number one on the list. Samsung has added basically everything that a person would want to see in a smartphone. The new S7 is a huge upgrade from last year's S6, and it packs in a lot of features and a lot of upgrades. The battery got larger, they've minimized TouchWiz, they got a better camera, and just the list goes on and on. Samsung has made one of the best phones right now in 2016. The new S7 has the Exynos 8-core chip and 4GB of RAM. These specs are top of the line, and you can't find higher specs anywhere else. They've also brought back the micro SD card expansion slot, which many people love, and many people missed that from the Note lineup, and they love to see that it is here now in the new S7. The new camera on this S7 is also ridiculous. It's a new 12 megapixel shooter that shoots in 4K, and it's very fast, it's very sharp, the autofocus is ridiculous, and Samsung also has a Pro mode that allows its user to manually adjust things like the ISO, exposure, the zoom, and it makes the camera like the best in the smartphone industry right now. And that about wraps it up for the top 5 smartphones that you can get right now. And I actually am going to add a couple of honorable mentions. Number 1 going to the OnePlus Two, which is a high-end smartphone going for a low budget price. And number 2, the Moto X Style. The Moto X Style is also a very high-end smartphone with a QHD screen, insane specs, good camera, that is also going for a very cheap price. So that about wraps it up for the video. Those are some of the best smartphones that you can get out there. My personal pick would probably go to the Nexus 6P because of stock Android and things like that. But again, that's just my personal preference. And you can't really go wrong with any of the other smartphones. And I know I didn't list all of the smartphones out there. And if you have an idea of what's the best that I didn't list, feel free to let me know down below. I'm interested in hearing what your opinion is. So hope you enjoyed everything like that. If you did, feel free to drop a like or subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.